All right, scholars, now that we have completed our project for the house, I'm going to show you how to create it for a presentation. So we are going to be editing our presentation. And in order to do that, there are two things we'll need to do. The first thing is we will need to make a copy of our slides that we've worked on so we don't lose all the work we've done. And then we're going to edit the new copy. So what we do is when you have your project open, when you have your project open, we're going to go to File and Make a Copy. And I'm going to make a copy of the entire presentation. And it's going to be called Copy of Tanya House Project. I don't want that. I'm going to name this House Project Presentation. Okay. It's going to open up in a whole new tab so that I don't lose the work that I've done before. So what I'm going to do is my old one, that's just Tanya Hughes House Project, I'm going to X out of that so that I'm not worried about accidentally changing that one. And now I have my house project presentation. I know that because up here in the title, it's called presentation. All right, so this is the one I want to edit. And I want to be thinking, so I've made a copy of my slides, check, and now we're going to edit our new copy. And in order to edit, I need to be constantly thinking, what do I want to include in my presentation? It's going to be 5 minutes, and so I really want to make sure that I am providing information for 5 minutes of information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the ones that I don't want. There's two ways to delete. One way is to just click on it and click the backspace or delete button. Delete on a Mac, backspace on the Chromebooks. So I'm just going to delete it, and you'll see that over here it disappears. I want to keep my project name, so I'm going to keep that. And I feel like for my project, I don't need this information, so I'm going to delete that one as well. Maybe I want to include like the different house types, and so maybe I'll keep this in. And maybe I want to keep my front framing and plumbing, so I'm going to keep that in. Day one, I wonder if I need to keep my days. Yeah, I think that I'll keep those for my own personal one. If you feel like you don't want those days, then that's fine. So then I get to this spot, and all of us have our elevations just kind of like hanging out right now. And what we want to do is make sure that what our work is the biggest thing on there. So we can just start deleting things. I'll click on it, and again, we hit backspace for the Chromebooks one time, or we hit delete for Macs if that's what you're using. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to select on things, and I'm going to start deleting them because I don't need all this other stuff on here. It's pretty distracting. But I am going to also resize this. I can make it smaller by grabbing the boxes or bigger. And I can also, so I'm going to move that around, and then also I'm just going to move this. I'm going to put it, and I can change the size of this so that it's all over here. Aha, this looks much better. I like that a lot better for my presentation. You can organize that however you want. So day two, we have a whole lot of work. Let's see, we had the questions and the article. I might want to keep the article, but I don't know. I think I'll just delete it. So there's another way. I can just hit delete. I don't need my burger outline anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that because my paragraph is already here. Now, if you wrote your paragraph in this box, then you can get rid of my example. But if you wrote yours and put it in a picture, then we're going to want to get rid of the box, right? So whichever one you used, we want to keep the other one. And I'm going to make this nice and big so everyone can see it. I can even crop it by clicking 2 times on this, and you'll see these lines. I can bring this up, and I can bring this one down so that I can actually make and hit return or enter. So it's return on a Mac, and it is enter on the Chromebook. So I'll hit enter, and it's going to crop that so that I can make it even bigger. So you can play around with that however you want that to look. And then I go to day 3. Day 3, I don't feel like I need this information, so I'm going to go ahead and delete whatever I don't want in there. And I'm going to, actually, you know what? If I delete something that I want in there still, I'm going to hit Command Z for undo on a Mac, or Control Z for undo on a Chromebook. I actually really like this video of myself, and so I'm going to leave that one on there. And if you want to make a video of yourself, then do that. But I'm going to get rid of this guy, And I'm actually going to move this video to this one so that my floor plan and my video are together. Or actually, it'll be easier if I move my floor plan. So the way that I can take this floor plan and move it somewhere else is I'm going to cut it out. So on a Mac, Control X cuts that picture out. On a Chromebook, Control X cuts it out. So I'm going to cut it out by hitting Control X. And over here, I'm going to paste it in with that Control V. Control V is a paste. So now I have a cool video of myself creating my house, my floor plan, and the image of it. So I like that. And then I can just get rid of this guy. I don't need that one anymore. So day 3 was my floor plan. And then day 4 was this video of learning stuff. I don't know if I need all this. I'll keep the framing system definition, but I don't need this information anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that information. And I'm going to keep this work, but I don't like that video of Miss Hughes, so I'm going to get rid of that. Keep this work. I don't like the video of Miss Hughes, so I'm going to get rid of that. Same up here. I don't need this video of Miss Hughes. Goodbye. So day 4's framing system. Here's the definition. Here is my work. And then day 5 framing is goodbye. I don't need that. I don't need this one either, where that guy teaches me the studs. I don't need this explanation of what to do. But now I have all of these things with my drawing, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of all of this by deleting it. And I'm going to resize my drawing so that we can see it nice and big from one end to the other, and I can resize this box so that my plumbing system, it's not my plumbing system, it's my framing system, is in one spot. So you're going to go and just delete the ones that you don't need anymore and only keep the bare bones of what you need. So here's my framing system paragraph, and then moving on to my plumbing system. I'm going to keep that definition of the plumbing system, but I don't need Mr. Hernandez's videos for mine. I don't need this, but I'm going to go ahead and resize my bathroom's work. So you go ahead, your turn to go and edit your presentation so that it looks exactly how you want it to be. Don't forget that you can crop these images to make them just a little bit bigger. Get rid of anything that you don't want in your presentation. That's what you're working on today, editing your presentation. Make sure that you go back and watch this video if you need a little more help. All right, and you're doing the whole thing. I stopped on day 6. You're doing the entire thing. All right, good luck. All right, bye. Now that you have gotten rid of most of the things that you don't want, we want to go ahead and we want to perfect the edit. And the way that we're going to perfect the edit is by figuring out if we want to combine slides so that we have the perfect amount of slides. So let's take a look. I don't need this one. I'm going to get rid of it. I definitely want my title, so I'm going to leave this. But if I want to change this around, I absolutely can. Maybe I want to bring my title over here. Maybe I want to change the size. It is totally, well, maybe that's a little too big. But what I want to do is really make sure that this project feels like it's mine. And so I can make this into the middle. I can do whatever I want. And so I'm going to edit this just to make sure that it feels like it's mine. And it doesn't feel like it's going to look like everyone else's. And I could probably even get rid of my name. Well, that name part. So, and maybe I want to put by Tanya Hughes. So maybe I change it around a little bit so that it feels like mine. So I wanted to keep this stuff, and then I have my day 1 house elevation, and here's my elevation. And so I was kind of thinking, I guess I don't need to know these days. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put house elevation here. And I'm going to get rid of this, unless I want to tell people what an elevation is. And I know that the elevation is the front of my house. So I'm going to use this more as a title page instead of a day page. And then I really like how this looks, and so I'm okay with this. This looks fine. But then I can get rid of day 2. I do know that it's the house type, so I'm going to go ahead and put house type here, and I'm going to get rid of this one here so that it feels like, it's a title instead. So this is my house type, and I like how this looks too. So I'm okay with that. So then day 3 is my floor plan. And I like how I combined this yesterday. So I have my floor plan and my floor plan written in then that video, which is fine. So then day 4 is framing. And what I'm thinking about doing is I have this day 4 framing picture and I have this framing system and it was day 5 too. I'm thinking of getting rid of the day 5 because I don't care that they're on different days. And so here's day 4. And instead of saying day 4, I think I'm going to put system 1 here, framing. And I'm going to get rid of that. But then what I was also thinking is on here, there's the definition of a framing system. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to bring that in here too, so that I can have that there, and I could just get rid of this extra slide. So goodbye, extra slide. I'm going to keep these ones because that's work that I did. And then here's my framing system and my paragraph. And I am going to leave my framing system and my paragraph on different pages. If I want to, I could combine them. But for this one, my paragraph's really long, so I'm just going to leave them on separate pages, just like that. But so then I can go down to day 6, I don't need that video. Again, I don't need it to say day 6, so I'll do system 2, plumbing, and I'll get rid of that. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll take the definition of the plumbing system and I will bring it into here. And I'll just put that there like a title page, and I can now get rid of this extra one. And for this one, what I'm thinking, oh, day 7 has the same plumbing, so I'm going to get rid of that. And what I was actually thinking of doing is putting my paragraph with my floor plan. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to resize my paragraph. And I can change the size of the letters. So they're at 18 right now. Let's try 16. Still too big. Let's try 15. Still too big. We'll try 14. Ooh, that looks kind of nice. Okay, so that's my paragraph. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. So remember that Control X or Command X. And I'm going to paste it right into here. Command V. Or Control V. And I can just move this around my house. Oh, and that way I have the picture and the paragraph side by side. So I could do that too. If you want to do that, you can do that. And then I can get rid of that extra thing. And that way the system only has one slide, which is kind of nice. So you can do either having the picture and the paragraph on 2 separate slides, or you can combine them to have them on one. If you notice here, I've already done system 3 with my electricity. I combined them if I wanted to, but then I also showed another example of my HVAC being on 2 separate pages. So I could have the picture and then the my paragraph. Now notice here how I changed the size and the font. You can change the size and font of anything that you want. And then I'm going to keep going, stairs, and this one's now blank so I can get rid of that. And so instead of being like a whole bunch of pages, instead of being like 60 plus pages, my project's only 23 now, and I can kind of really go through to be able to practice my presentation. So now it's your turn. Go and decide if you are going to combine them onto one page, like I did here for the plumbing system, or decide if you're going to keep them on 2 separate slides, like we did for the house framing system. And get rid of any extra slides. Figure out how you want to use these titles to be able to teach people about what you learned. Oh, here it still says day 3, so I'm going to change that to say floor plan. And now it's your turn. Enjoy. Now that you have edited your presentation, I want you to really focus on what you're going to talk about. You're going to be doing slide by slide to talk about your house and what it looks like. And so make sure that you start writing a script, and I've attached one below that I used in mine to start preparing for your presentation. Watch the video of my presentation so that you know kind of what to expect, and you're going to have somebody record you doing your presentation. Good luck!